Okay, so why are these types of apps so popular right now? To get some more insight into that, Michelle Drouin now joins us via Zoom. She is a professor of psychology at Indiana University's Purdue University Fort Wayne. That's a mouthful, but thank you so much for joining us. You're also the author of the book Out of Touch, How to Survive an Intimacy Famine. And you can see the cover there on your screen. Michelle, I'm looking forward to this. This is, to me, very interesting. Okay, kind of break it down for us. The target audience for these apps, is there an age? What kind of people are they?
I think they're really targeting the young adult market, but it could really span the lifespan. I mean, we have global loneliness ratings of about, 1 in 4 people in young adulthood, but that only increases as people age. So people over the age of 40 and 50 are some of the loneliest people on the planet. So I think that's a market that's probably yet untapped. Right now, they're marketing to the young adults.
Interesting. Okay, so the size of the social app market as well. I'm curious about that.
So obviously, social networking apps are a huge part of the global revenue. There are projected increases anywhere from 7 to 20% per year from here until 2029. Billions of people are online. Billions of dollars are in these social networking apps. This is just an extension of that. So it's a huge part of, I think, technology development is going into development of these social networking apps where people can actually meet up face to face, which a lot of the social networking apps are supposed to be doing anyway, just like the dating apps.
Exactly. We actually had a story on recently that showed a lot of those dating apps are just kind of designed to keep you funneling money into them. Now, in your research for these apps that promote friendship, networking, or new experiences, tell us something that you feel that you learned that really stood out, that can help people.
So I think the great thing about these apps is that you're not stuck in the loop of just communicating online. The one that they were talking about where you meet for dinner or where you meet for breakfast, that's actually designed to get you out of the app and meeting face-to-face in real life. And face-to-face connections are really valuable. So insofar as they're promoting actual face-to-face meetups, I think these apps are a great step forward. And I think if people were using the dating apps more proactively to actually meet up with people face-to-face, I think that that would be a good part of the dating apps as well. Unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. People get stuck in kind of this merry-go-round of dating where the dating app conversations go nowhere and they actually have fatigue. So I think that these apps are kind of taking it a step further and pushing people to meet up face-to-face.
Okay, so we know people will spend a good amount of money to go to a gym. People may get involved in, say, kickball, which we can see here in the National Mall in Washington, D.C., various things like that to reach out and avoid loneliness. So are these apps, do you believe these apps that we're talking about now, are they worth the financial cost of trying to make a connection?
People spend money all the time on different activities to try to make connections. They do have the gym membership. They might go to an art class. They might, go to a museum in order to try to meet people who are like them. So we're already investing our money into the hope of social connection. I think for a segment of the population that isn't finding their group of people in their normal ways they run through the world, I think this is a great opportunity. I also think that we have to think not only of the financial cost, the biggest cost of all these apps is time. I mean, time is valuable. So I think that people need to consider and really strike a balance between how much time are they investing and are they really getting anything out of it. So there is a monetary investment, but I don't think it's any more than what people would normally do to try to find new friends in their network.
I was talking to a friend of mine who's on a dating app, and she said, you guys are worried if we're going to show up and we're going to be heavier than you thought. We're worried about showing up and walking away safe. So I hate to be the one to bring this up, but how safe are these apps?
This is a fantastic point. I do think that the second you meet up with people, you're opening them up to your world. My suggestion is to keep all of your personal information very private. So if you are choosing to meet up with 5 strangers for a dinner, if you're choosing to meet someone via, for breakfast, make sure it's a public place. I mean, these apps are coordinating public places for the meetup, but don't give your personal information. Don't tell them where you live. Maybe don't give them your cell phone number, because I do think it could be a really dangerous situation. And knowing what I know about the internet, and it's, a sadist playground. So people could really get into these apps hoping to shake up individuals in the world in a really negative way. So I think people need to have a healthy skepticism about people and their motives on these apps.
Okay, we're not trying to terrify people, but that's a very, very, very good point, and that's really something that people need to digest before going down this road. So let's talk about the amount of money that young adults are spending on finding these friend-finding endeavors, if you will.
So, I mean, the apps that you're mentioning are so low cost, $14 a month, $7 a week. These aren't huge, I guess, financial investments and would be the equivalent of, buying a coffee and going to a coffee shop and trying to meet someone. So
Yeah.
I don't think that the cost is that big, but when you then propagate that out to the billions of people that exist in the world, if it catches on, it could be quite a bit of money that's going into this industry. Again, I don't think it's much more than people would spend in their daily lives trying to make those social connections anyway. And if it does get you out and meeting someone who potentially has a lot in common with you, maybe that's great. I think there's this misconception that just because we work with people or we live near them or we went to school
Right.
with them, we have something in common. One of the things that's good about these apps is they seem to connect people on some common interests, like new mothers or people who are
Right,
pregnant
right.
or people who are creative and want the opportunity to meet other creatives. Or for this dinner app, you have to take a personality test and they're trying to match you with people who are like you. So I think there is some hope that these types of matching apps might get you in the circles that could really fulfill you.
Yeah, and if you can break out of a loneliness cycle, boy, just the value to your mental health is going to be huge. So if something works, we've seen everybody's going to jump on board and try to do this. So to what degree do you think we're going to see a lot more of these in the rest of 2024 and on into 2025?
I think that some people are going to try it out of novelty. And I'm going to say, we move in our familiar circles. Time seems to collapse into itself. Minutes turn into our days, turn into our months. And I think something like this might break people out of a rut. So I do think that a lot of people might be willing to try. Whether or not it becomes part of their daily lives or something that they're going to rely upon
Mm.
to keep expanding their social capital, I think that's yet to be seen. This seems to me like a one and done kind of app. I'm also going to go back to what I said before about time. A lot of people don't even have the time to keep up with their friends and family members that they already have in their lives. So it's going to be a big leap to invest the time needed to get ready to go out for this dinner, not just finding and taking the test and finding the people to go out with, but that kind of time investment, financial investment, just energy investment. It's going to be something that I think will be a hurdle for these apps. So I think this is yet to be seen. I think it's going to be something that some people are going to enjoy, but I'd be surprised if it catches on as a really hot trend.